Hi guys, welcome to our next lesson. So today our lesson objective is to relate manipulative representations to the addition algorithm. So that is a big long sentence. So basically what that means is we are building our way up to the standard algorithm where you stack the numbers vertically. So today we're just going to be using the place value chart and place value disk to understand leading up to get to the standard algorithm of addition. Okay, so that's basically all that means. It's basically what we've been doing all week and last week. We're just still leading our way up to the algorithm of addition the way that maybe your parents and myself were taught. Okay, so we're just going to do some practice together. So the directions say solve the following problems using your place value chart, place value disk, and vertical form. So if we were actually in school, you would be using a place value chart and place value disk. But since we aren't in school, we're just going to improvise and draw one on our paper. Okay, so I have 505 plus 75. So I'm going to draw out my place value chart here. And I'm going to label my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. And I'm just going to model each number in my place value chart. So the first number I'm going to model is 505. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 500s. I have 0 tens, and I have 5 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the second thing I'm going to do is model 75, but I'm going to use a different color. That way we know it's the different number. So I'm going to model 75. In 75, we don't have any hundreds, so I'm going to move to my tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that I have my place value chart filled out, I am now ready to start adding. So leading our way up to the standard algorithm, we always start in our ones place value. So I have my place value chart. I have my place value disks, which are just circles. And vertical form just simply means to stack your numbers like this. Okay, that's basically the standard algorithm of addition. So now I'm ready to add. So I'm going to start in my ones place value. So I'm going to count up my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anytime I have a 10, I can bundle them up and move to the next place value. So I'm just going to grab a different color. And I know that I have 10 ones, so I'm going to circle them up. And I'm just going to move them over one. And I'm going to make a new place value disk, or in this case, dot, because 10 tens, I have 10 ones, and that gives me a new 10. So now, since I moved all these tens over, I have no ones. So I have 0 ones, but I have an extra 10 here. Okay, so I'm going to go right here, and I'm just following along with my vertical form. So I know that 5 plus 5 is 10, which it shows here, but I had to add an extra disk. So I'm going to add that extra number to my place value. Okay, so now I'm in my tens place value. So I'm going to count up how many I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 in my tens, but I don't have any tens, so I can't bundle them up and move them to the next place value. And you will notice over here that 7 plus 0 plus 1 is 8, and that's what we got when we used our place value chart too. And now I'm in my hundreds, so I'm just going to count up my hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 hundreds. And if you notice, I have 5 plus nothing because there's no hundreds in 75, so I know that's 580. So I know my answer here is 580, which is what we got in our place value chart. Okay? All right, so let's try another one. So we have 293 plus 114. So I'm just going to draw out my place value chart, and I have ones, tens, and 100s. And I'm going to model my numbers. So I'm first going to model 293. So I have 200s, I have 9 tens, and I have 3 ones. So that's my first number. And now I'm going to model 114. So I'm going to use a different color, and I'm going to come down a little, and I have 100, 110, and 4 ones. Okay? And I keep forgetting to stack the numbers to lead up to the standard algorithm. So now I'm ready to add. So I have my place value chart finished, and I have my vertical form, and I always start in my ones place value. So I'm going to look at my ones, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 ones, which isn't a 10, so I can't bundle any of those up and move them over. So I'm going to go over here and see what we get. So I know I started my ones place value, and I know that 4 plus 3 is indeed 7, which is what I got here. Now I'm going to look at my tens, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus one more is 10. So since I have 10 tens, I can bundle those 10 tens up and move them over to the 100s. So I'm just going to bundle these up and move them over to the 100s. Okay, so now instead of having 10 tens, I have 0 tens. So I'm going to put a 0 here. And I moved over a place value. So I'm going to go to my tens place value, and I have 9 plus 1, which I know is 10. So that's where my 0 comes from. So I'm going to add a 0 and then add a 100 because I moved 1 over. Okay? So now I'm ready to add my 100s together. So I'm just going to count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 407. So I'm going to go back to my vertical form and do 2 plus 1, which is 3, plus 1 more, which is 4. So I got 4 in my hundreds place, so I have 4 here. Okay, so that's 407. So I know my answer is 407. Now I want you guys to try a couple on your own. Okay, so I want you to get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and I want you to write down these 2 problems. Okay, after you write down these 2 problems, I want you to pause the video, and then I want you to use a place value chart, just like we did in my examples, to find the answer to each of these. Okay, and don't forget to write it in vertical form. All right, so when you have all that together, put it on pause, do these 2 problems with a place value chart and with vertical form, and then unpause the video, and we're going to check your work. Okay? All right, so we are going to check our work. I just went on and did these so you don't have to watch me draw out the numbers. So my first one, I got my answer of 690. So I just did a bundle of 10 ones and moved them over and added up my vertical form as well. And for my second one, I got 980. And that one also had a bundle of 10 ones where you can move them over to the tens place value. So I carried my 1 into my tens place. All right. So now I'm going to just try to show you an example as to how you can show this on your exit ticket on Google Forms. So let me bring that up. So on your exit ticket, you'll notice that I have these little circles here. We're going to call them place value disk. And I've just made a place value chart out of lines. So it's not perfect by any means. So I'm going to model for you what you'll do on your exit ticket in just a minute. So my problem is 338 plus 273. So I'm going to first model 338. So I'm just going to click and drag these little circles. 1, 2, 3. So I have 300. I need 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. And I need 8 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I keep moving the whole screen. Be careful about that. 8. Okay, so now I have 338 modeled. Now I'm going to model 273, but my place value disc, my circles are going to be the same color. So I'm going to go down a little. So I'm going to model 200. 1, 2. 7 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, this is not by any means perfect. On your exit ticket, I'll make your place value chart bigger so you can fit your circles in.